Dave, the biggest free agent signing probably, there were a lot of big free agent signings, but the big fish that kind of flopped, and JD, if you're out there, earmuffs, my man. You're just going to want to earmuff this whole conversation because it's just going to be la, 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 la. I don't want to hear it. But Gordon Hayward. And yet again, Dave, I did the fucking Chicagoan thing. What did I do in our graphic? I did the Chicagoan thing. Hayward signs with the Hornets. Didn't mean to do that, but I guess I type it sometimes with an S. Gordon Hayward, though, signing with the Hornets. The thing I want to ask you, Dave, is
of course,
basically, is this a good move? A lot of the conversation is that did the Hornets make a bad move by saying, hey, we can either try to get someone in 2021 and strike out or overpay. Like some people say overpay for Hayward now or throw money at Hayward right now and make sure we get a guy this year. And then we don't have to worry about striking out next year.
Right, and it's a fair question to ask. I mean, it's an easy one to answer, though. Who wants to go play for them? Fucking no one. So you spend the money now on someone who you impressed in free agency his last time around. Yeah. There were a lot of reports out there that, hey, Charlotte Hornets did make a great offer for him prior to him re-signing in Utah and then eventually being moved over to the Celtics. So, like, he really appreciated what they'd done for him then. And he's like, hey, they got my back before. They got my back now. Like, I want to go for this team. Like, he's someone who feels like that's warranted. And I am 100% for that because the price doesn't matter for them because they're not a free agent destination as it stands today. That is a team at the bottom of a rebuild. And what they were able to do was add on someone who has incredible upside, who is a consummate professional through and through, has seen the best of the NBA and the worst of the NBA, the rehab, the drama, everything around it. And being put through what we're now hearing come out from his family about what his time was like in Boston. It's like, dude, you're going to love Charlotte. Yeah. You are going to love this team. And I think he's going to embrace it. And I think that it's a huge win for the Charlotte team. I'm all about this move. People who are like, oh, well, now they just blew their chance. Who was going to sign? Was Giannis going to go to the Charlotte Hornets? Please tell me who had Giannis as the odds-on favorite for the Charlotte Hornets. Oh, well, LeBron was going to opt out with a 1-1 and stay with AD. And the three of them were going to all the way down to Charlotte to play with Michael Jordan. No. Get out of your own fucking heads, you idiots. Like, this was what they had to do. This is a not major market. Yeah. What you have to do if you're in a non-major market is either draft well, develop well, or overpay. Yeah. And what they've done here is they overpaid for someone who has clear history of injuries. He is prone, I don't know if it's the right word, unlucky is the word I continue to use for him because it's not the same body piece that is hurt every single time. A la Steph Curry's ankles being made of glass. This is just Gordon Hayward perhaps is one of the unluckiest basketball players we've ever seen. But I still think that what we saw him shooting-wise last year, facilitating last year, rebound, he still has a complete game. Like, I still think he's a guy who is going to flip around and look fantastic for this team. This is not going to be a Terry Rozier thing where the Celtics just patted him on the back and like, go ahead, you and Kemba swap. We're totally evensies here. Don't worry about it. Like, no, this is Gordon Hayward is walking away from the Celtics being the fourth man on that roster to now being a guy on this Charlotte team, and I love it.
And the thing that I like about this, and the one JD in Twitch chat saying that like, oh, it's a good signing, but MJ really threw a bad contract at him, major overpay. To me, maybe the reason I don't see it as like in a bad overpay is because, like you said, they're Charlotte. Like, who's going to come play for Charlotte? And that's not like a knock at like
culture.
Bingo. And like, that's the main thing that I love with this signing is it's kind of the similar thing I said when CP3 got traded to the Suns, where that's a young Suns team. They need someone on that team that actually has like deep playoff experience.
I agree.
And CP3 did. Well, the one thing we always talk about with young teams, Dave, is when you're losing, you're not making the playoffs, you're just developing a culture of like, we're just losing. And now it's like you add Gordon Hayward, the main veteran now on that team, around young players like LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, which, it's going to be interesting to see how...
He's a bench player.
I mean, he'll probably come off the bench because like PJ Washington will start at the 4. But
PJ
like
Washington is very good.
PJ, LaMelo.
PJ at the 5. But again, it gives them versatility. Another thing that you always want to see. No, I love this signing for them. And I think Gordon will probably have not a career year, but being the number one on a team again, as we assume, like, if he puts back up somewhere around like, a 19-5-5 for the season, wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Would not be shocked. And if he gets over the 20 mark, like, who's saying it's an overpay now?
Yeah, and I mean,
it's an overpay until his contract's over because you have to count the games played. That's all that matters in this case.
And I know that some people are going to say, yeah, but Ricky, like, I know I saw something about maybe Bismack Biyombo returning, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Biyombo and Zeller split time last year with the Hornets, so they could just do it again. But, like, to me, I look at it and I go, am I talking about a Giannis or a LeBron or a KD level player? No, but like next year, will there be a free agent? One of like the lower ones, like maybe I'm thinking on the caliber of like a like a Steven Adams, like below that top tier, but not like the absolute top. That's like, fuck it. I like what they're doing in Charlotte. I like Gordon Hayward. I'm gonna go play with like. Is Gordon Hayward though a guy where someone would go, yeah, I want to go play with him. I want to team up with him in Charlotte, even if it's not a top dude. Oh, Dave's got a phone call. Dave's on the phone, so I'm gonna rant a little bit more. I don't see it as a bad signing though. Like JD, where you say major overpay, I don't think that's the worst thing.
I gotta make a phone call real quick. I promise it'll be under 2 minutes. I apologize.
You're good. You're good. I'll fucking rant and rave a little bit because like. The other question that I have with this, and I'm just going to straight talk to you, Twitch chat, so you guys can reply to me and kind of serve the role that Dave has, is this something to where can Gordon Hayward make the playoffs with the Hornets? Like, that's something, like, because the Hawks we're going to talk about, Dave said the Wizards with John Wall, Bradley Beal. Like, for me, this Hornets team, if I'm going to pull up the standings really quick in the NBA from last year, they were not out of the playoffs for that. Like, they weren't that many games back, is basically what I'm trying to say. Let's see here. Not NFL, want NBA. Let's look at the standings from last year. So, like, last year, they missed the playoffs because the Magic were the 8th seed. They were what? 23 back were the Magic, 29 back were the Hornets, so about 6 games back. Like, the question for me, and yes, it's going to be a shortened season again, so that'll kind of play into it as well, but can the Hornets, with Gordon Hayward, with LaMelo Ball, depending on how he plays this year, could the Hornets be a team that is in that discussion for the playoffs? I'm going to say no. I'm going to spoil it. No. Because you guys will hear a little later on. I really like what the Hawks did. The Hawks are a team where I think if I am putting my money on the playoff spots right now, Milwaukee, Tampa, Boston, Indy, Philly, Miami, Brooklyn, they're all in again. That 8th spot, it ain't going to the Hornets. I put my money on the Hawks. Like, Dave, the thing I was kind of talking about is Gordon Hayward enough. This team was six games back of the 8th spot. Is Gordon Hayward enough to make a playoff push in this shortened season with the Hornets?
It's unlikely. It's very unlikely. I'm with you. I think that a couple of teams have made moves to put them in that position. I think this year it's just so volatile. I mean, like we said, Gordon Hayward's got the injury history. We don't know what we're getting with LaMelo. I think you and I both have extremely high
hopes.
High hopes for him.
High hopes.
But what he'll be in year one and how many wins added that means for this team is a big question. So I think that we're going to expect them probably to be probably like a 10th seed. Although at this point, that could make the playoff bracket.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the fucking play-in tournament. They've got to for sure be in the play-in tournament, right? Like, Gordon Hayward makes them a top 10 team in the East, right?
The bottom of the East is anybody's got a shot, I'll say.
I completely forgot about that play-in tournament.
The Bulls are bad. The Knicks are bad. The Cavs are bad. They're bad. Like, we're going to see the bottom of the East fight it out to see who makes it into that tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
He's going to look like the NFC East out there.
Kingy, you're in chat. You're going to hate the first thing I was going to say. I was going to say, well, at least we know the Knicks won't be in the play-in tournament. But Kingy says you fight for the top 10 and get in that play-in tournament. I completely forgot about that.
I agree.
Last thing I was going to ask you, Dave, before you had to go take your phone call was Gordon Hayward. Is he enough to bring some veteran in next year? Not necessarily a top guy, but will there be anyone in next year's free agency class that's like, fuck it, let's go play with Charlotte. I want to go play with Gordon Hayward and this nice young core that the Hornets have in stock?
I think that there's definitely the opportunity for that. And at worst case, they could likely move on from a piece in a sign and trade kind of a deal to, whether it is a Miles Bridges, Malik Monk, even a Rozier, like guys like that,
Am I doing the thing with Steven Adams? Am I doing the Chicago thing and add the S on it when there's not supposed to? Oh,
who did I go to?
Okay. I thought that so JD dropping some breaking news. Adam Thielen has COVID. So, because JD said also Ricky Adam, and I was like, I mentioned Steven Adams earlier. I'm like, is it Steven Adam? Like, am I doing because I add S's to thing, like Joe Burrow.
No, it's Steven Adams.
Yeah, that's what I got confused by JD's comment. I was like, oh shit, am I saying it wrong? But yeah, the Gordon Hayward signing, didn't say the contract earlier in case you didn't know, 4 years, $120 million for Gordon Hayward.
Big question mark around the Celtics not getting anything for that deal. We had heard the talks were in place for the Pacers, and we had a proposed deal of perhaps a Doug McDermott and a Miles Turner and draft compensation of sorts fitting in there. And yet no trigger was pulled.
So
I'm just saying it begs the question.
You actually remind me of something because Retro, our buddy who's in the Discord, he brought up a point that I necessarily didn't agree with. And this kind of is the last thing we'll do with the Hayward thing. He mentioned, let's see, I got to find it really quick. He goes, basically his point is that did Charlotte make this deal with Hayward to where basically what they can do is if he plays well this season, they could then flip Hayward and trade him. I didn't see that. Right away when he said that, I went, no. And the reason why I say no is, like you mentioned earlier, 2014, Hornets wanted to sign him. Only reason they didn't get him was he was an RFA, and the Jazz said, nope, we're matching that shit. You ain't leaving Utah.
I think they have a genuine interest in him, and unless there's something that's absolutely ridiculous, they're probably going to keep him home.
Yeah.